welcome back to my channel. Today is the YouTube hop for a cherry on top for November. And we're focusing on one of my favorite mediums, and that is texture paste. So you can see I've got my kind of messy setup here. I'm going to do a little demo of how I love to use it, which is through stencils. And I want to show you a few examples to begin with, and then just plunge in and do a little demo in my art journal. This is my junk journal, and I want to page back to a couple of things. This is something similar to what I want to try today, which is mixing paint into texture paste, and then pulling it through a stencil. I think you can see there, it's a floral stencil on a very simple art journal page, but it creates a pretty effect. There's another example of that here. Again, where it's the texture paste is slightly tinted and then just used as an accent. You can see the X's there, also created with paste and a stencil. Something that I created just now, so it's still a bit wet, is this. And I decided to go ahead and experiment with powdered watercolor, because I know that's in a cherry on top has been doing some demos with it, and it's a lot of fun to use. This is like a metallic copper, and then I added a little oil pastel in gold. So I think when this dries, I'll take some pictures of it and it'll look really pretty. A few rub-on stencils from one of the, rub-on embellishments there from one of the mini wonderful rub-on sets in the store right now for fall. And then I used a little a word thankful from Dina Wakley. And then also the stamp is really great. I might pull that out today. Okay, so let me say a couple things about the different kinds of texture paste. The examples I gave you are all made with my favorite, which is just Ranger's texture paste in opaque matte. There are lots of options, so you kind of have to just find what you like the best. I am experimenting a little bit with the seasonal ones from Ranger. There were two that were released with the Christmas spray mica stains, and one is called Snowfall and the other is Icicle. And the Snowfall one is a grit paste that looks like snow, and this is pretty much dry. I did a little experiment with that, and you can see this in my craft art journal. It's really quite fascinating. It really does have a really cool texture. There are other grit pastes out there that aren't, designed in the seasonal way to create this effect that are really nice too if you just want a paste with more texture to it. This is a crackle paste that's starting to dry. I think it's probably pretty hard to see on camera. It's again the Snowfall one, the one in that's supposed to look like an icicle. Here, maybe on the edge, you can see this a little bit better. I know the light's a little weird today. It is really cool, and I think when it finishes drying, you'll just see all the crackle. It looks like ice that's cracked. But I wanted to show you that there are these specialty kinds. I also wanted, because I'm going to be mixing some color in, to show you that you can create color on a substrate and then apply the paste, and that way the color shines through in a really kind of cool way. Like this was actually the Halloween crypt grayish color originally, but it picked up there, maybe you can catch it on camera, picked up the yellow shimmer from the mica stain. And here's the other Halloween already tinted texture paste. Okay, so a couple things to know. You need a couple palette knives. I like these little plastic ones from Ranger. They work great. And it's really important to have like some sort of container with water that you can throw your stencil in right away when you're done using it. And the value of that is that you don't have to think too much about cleaning it, but you also don't let the texture paste dry on the stencil, because that's like not cool. It's not good for your stencils. Okay, we have some sunshine here, so I hope you're going to be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, this is a Balzer stencil that I know is available in the shop. It's anyway, something that you could find easily. It comes in, I think some of these come in different sizes, and this is just the smaller 6x6, which is perfect for this smaller kind of art journal. Okay, so I'm gonna, before I put it through the stencil, I'm gonna take a little bit, shake it up, a little bit of this Distress Paint in Kitsch Flamingo, and just put down about the amount you think you're going to want to use. You can always save the what you don't use. Just put it in a separate jar if you've tinted it and want to keep it separate, obviously, from the rest of the white. Just mix it up. This little triangular one is really good for mixing. You can see what I'm doing here. This is making a really pale, pretty pink. You can obviously add more paint if you want it brighter. I think it would be fun to do like a neon pink too, and just add little touches through a stencil. That's the other thing that I guess I would advise, is always remember, you don't need to use the full stencil. I usually don't. I usually just use a portion of it. And I think what I'm going to do is just plop all of this on and then use the other one to spread it out. Now, how thick or thin you make it is up to, you know, the effect you want. It can be pretty thin. I sometimes like it to be a little bit thicker and more uneven, but you can make it very even and regular too, just depending on your technique. And as with all things, it's a matter of practice. So there you have it. I think you can, the camera will pick that up. It is a very pale pink color. And then I think you just want to, as I said, clean everything off, your little tools and stencils. And that's the demo of that part of it. And I think I might take just a minute or two to show you some other things that I would do on an art page like this to kind of finish off the demo. Here's some more Dina Wakley tissue paper, like the one that I showed you on the page that I made a bit ago. And I like to just kind of rip the edges. And then I put it down with, oh, these jars look the same, the collage medium. You don't have to use your fingers, obviously, but sometimes that's the quickest. And it's very delicate, so you have to be a little careful. You plop it on there and apply a little more on top. And already, if you can see, I mean, I like what's happening here with the contrast between the very pale pink and the bold graphic black. It's possible to keep these pages like very minimal, and I like to include a little bit of dictionary or book paper. So throw a bit of that in. See, I grabbed a little bit, because I've been attracted to gold lately, a little bit of a gold doily. Layer that in there. And I'm gonna call that a good start, and it gives you a little vision of my process and how texture paste works for me, and the various things that I do with it in my junk journal. And I might add a bit more to this, probably give it a focal point and some words cut from a book. But hope this gives you some ideas of what you can do and inspires you to have fun with texture paste. Thanks for joining me today.